Welcome, viewers, to the Saturday, May 30th edition of 284 News. I am Jaco Wooding-Donovan, bringing you our top stories from this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin with word that Premier Dr. Natalia Wheatley has said that the United Kingdom has not been sufficiently sensitive to the timeline and developmental needs of the Virgin Islands regarding the long-discussed expansion of the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport. More in this report. The Premier made the comments while explaining delays affecting the airport's runway extension project.
We had to produce a business case, and we produced a business case, but we have been asked for more information. And we have a reputable company that did this business case for us. This is like KPMG. But additional studies have been requested, and more information has been requested. The United Kingdom has expressed that they're supportive of us getting an airport extension done. However, they seem concerned about contingent liability. And if you remember, St. Helena had a whole kind of fiasco as it pertained to their airport, and the UK was left holding the bag. And I think that's perhaps influencing the great caution that they have in being able to approve our extension to move forward.
Despite the challenges cited in dealings with the United Kingdom, Wheatley said the government remains committed to advancing the project and noted that the Minister for Communications and Works, Honorable Kai Reimer, will soon issue a request for proposal for a phased development.
A phase of the project that would allow American Airlines to take off safely by adding, I think, about 700 more feet to the west. And that's going to be coming out soon. Your question also brought to mind our regulation from ASI. And of course, I know the Minister of Communications and Works as well had an ambition, I believe you might have been a part of this as well, to have our own civil aviation authority. But I do believe, even though we may have our own civil aviation authority, we do have a responsibility to best practice, international best practice. And we also have the opportunity as a member of the Eastern Caribbean, the OECS, that they have, I think it's called ECA, where we could be a part of ECA. And you have some entities that just have their own civil aviation authority and their own regulator. I don't think we should use our failure to be able to adhere to our audit to limit our ambitions. We should fix whatever we need to fix to ensure that, when our audit is done, we are compliant.
The Ministry of Communications and Works has since published the request for the runway expansion project, which involves a planned 787-foot extension of the airport's runway. According to the notice, qualified firms and joint ventures have until August 28th to submit proposals. Jaco Wooding-Donovan, 284 News. Meanwhile, the BVI Chamber of Commerce and Hotel Association is lobbying the National Security Council to allow business owners in the territory to be armed, citing ongoing concerns over violent crime and repeated armed robberies targeting local businesses. More in this report. The issue has gained renewed attention following last week's armed robbery at House of Luxury, which marked the third time this business has been targeted in recent years. During the incident, armed robbers reportedly escaped with a quantity of jewelry, and they remain at large. Chairman of the chamber, Sinclair Fleming, said the organization's lobbying efforts were already underway prior to the latest robbery. According to Fleming, representatives of the chamber recently met with Governor Daniel Preuss and and Interim Acting Commissioner of Police Richard Algar to discuss security concerns affecting the business community.
It was a very good conversation. We had pointed topics for what businesses would like to see, how those things are being shared. And now we want to make sure that we could have brought these things to light before. Sadly, again, terror has struck at the Pear Pack. This is one of our biggest economic zones. This is one of our members. This is one of the people that has influence in the community. And they continue to be targeted by these armed robberies. But it's not just them, the fear that it creates in the entire society, something that businesses have been speaking about for a long period of time. They do not have the correct measures to protect themselves. The public knows it, and they keep being targeted without any type of assistance. Even for our members and other persons, when we put out that we're going to meet with the security forces, this was one of the #1 questions sent to us to be lobbied on their behalf. When are we going to get projectile weapons to protect ourselves and our investments and our employees and our families from different situations, right? We're in a small community. Everyone knows who owns what, when it opens, and when the times are when things are a little slim where they could have a chance, right? Like my dad always used to tell me, when you're a business owner, you have to be right every day. A thief only has to be right once. And this is something we all know. We all try to protect our systems. We have cameras, we have security guards, we have different stories. But the issue is with the public. If the persons seeking to create malice and terror know that you are unable to do anything to them, they don't have any deterrence. And we have great conversations with the commissioner and the governor. They are of the belief as well that these things need to happen. Steps have been moving forward. I was happy to hear that in the meeting more of this will be coming out. We really wanted to express that we don't want the community to turn into a gun-toting, open carry, everyone has something and then it causes more harm than good. But we all know the players that may need additional protection when these things do strike. Certain areas, certain lighting, certain community policing and patrolling that may need to be happening more in an area.
Jaco Wooding-Donovan, 284 News. And with that, we take a quick word from our sponsors. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Across the Virgin Islands, drivers have trusted VI Motors for generations. For 60 years, we've delivered dependable transportation, expert repairs, and quality parts, all under one roof. As a proud Napa franchise, our parts department carries leading brands like PPG Paints, Magic Accessories, Top Don Diagnostics Tools, Westlake and Goodyear Tires, plus reliable LTH batteries. Everything your vehicle needs to perform at its best. Our expert service department handles maintenance, diagnostics, and repairs you can rely on. And our vehicle sales team offers trusted Toyota and Honda vehicles built for island life. We proudly serve you at 2 locations, our flagship store in Dove's Bottom, Tortola, and our location on Virgin Gorda. From parts to service to sales, we're committed to you every step of the way. VI Motors, service beyond the call, serving the Virgin Islands for 60 years.
Hey girl, you hear about that deal with that bundles?
Yeah, but everybody gatekeeping where I could get the good stuff.
And I really need, cause my stylist put me onto a website here, and the inches is not inching, and the bundles, oh my, you're not even bundling. Like, I don't even know what's up.
Stylist? You mean talking about hair? What?
Are you deaf?
Yo, I said mean talking about hair. What are you talking about?
CCT.
I confused.
Save up to $1,000 when you bundle your mobile, fiber, or broadband services. Bundle all 3 and receive a free MiFi device on us. That's what's up when you bundle up with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with news that a decision has been made on the appointment of a new Chief Executive Officer for the BVI Health Services Authority. And according to Health Minister Vincent Wheatley, the successful candidate is not acting CEO Dr. June Samuel, who has served in the role for nearly 4 years now. More in this report. Speaking on the Talking Points program, Minister Wheatley said the appointment followed an extensive recruitment and selection process. However, he stopped short of revealing the identity of the selected individual or where the person is from.
So when we advertise for the CEO position, because the healthcare is so critical, we want to make sure that we kind of get the best of what's out there. So we had over 104 applicants.
Wow.
And they had to go through every single one of those applicants. And they got them whittled down. God bless their hearts, they had to go through all of that. But they got it down to about 4. And that was, I think, last year. Then they started negotiating with those 4.
Okay.
The last one I got, they finally settled on 1. And they're going through the final stages of agreement to get a person on board as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So they have settled on 1. And they're going through now the final stages of, whatever the agreements are to make sure everybody's satisfied.
So is the current CEO a candidate for this position?
No, she did not apply.
She did not apply.
She did not apply in this round.
Okay.
So I applied in a few rounds before, but not
in this round. So this is going to be a completely new CEO.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Can you speak to the rationale as to why she was not considered in the previous round?
When I came, I think I met that wrong when I came in, and I didn't like the fact that they didn't advertise on a large scale.
Okay.
I think healthcare is, if you're going to move healthcare forward, you have to make sure you have the right pool of candidates to choose from. I thought the pool was too narrow. Okay. That's my personal opinion. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to get blamed for what happens in healthcare. So I think to give it the best shot, let's widen the pool. If you jump in, let's widen the pool and see. So we had candidates from all over the world. The first pool I saw was very narrow. I think it was only maybe Caribbean. I thought it was a bit too narrow for the healthcare for countries to limit itself. Not saying that they're not good, but let's first put you on a world stage and let's see how we compete there.
Right.
And we did have some locals apply,
The health minister also emphasized the importance of succession planning, stating that he believes the incoming appointment should be the last foreign national to head the territory's hospital systems. Wheatley said the new CEO's contract will include provisions requiring the training and development of a qualified local professional to eventually assume the leadership role. While confirming that the new appointment has been made, the minister praised Dr. June Samuel's performance during her tenure as acting CEO.
When the new person comes in, I'll see who they are. The mandate must be within their contract period. They should have identified some BVI Islanders who can take over that position. I would be very disappointed after an outsider. This should be the last time an outsider had the opportunity to serve in that position. I would make sure the mandate is before you leave. Because as you come in here, one of your first job, you find some people who you could deal with. If they need more training, let's find where the training is. Right. Whatever it is they need, let's identify those needs, because you're not here forever. And when you go.
But Minister, in that vein, I like that approach.
That's my approach.
I would support that approach. But in that vein, you mentioned you had locals that applied, which says that you have locals on the ground that are interested. Why should we wait for somebody to come in before we start to invest in those persons who are interested in senior level management? Why isn't there a system in play that fast track those persons to that track? If they need to training, we start to invest in them so that by the time somebody comes in, these persons would be well on their way to preparation. So again, is that a failure in the system, and what are we going to do to adjust?
And I would say from my observation, I'm not expert on this, there are some persons who to me are very close to being ready to take over that hospital, just they're not there yet. And I would say it shouldn't take too long. Once they're interested in assuming that leadership position, we should support. I believe in giving locals support and chances.
Yes.
Because we're here because of locals. Right. And to solve locals and local needs. I mean, and there's a situation developing that I've been looking at where locals are limited in how far they can go in all sectors.
Right.
And I think it's very, very wrong. So the service that is happening to all people, and it happens all over the place.
And just for a direct answer on this particular subject, the current acting CEO, Dr. June Samuel, she has been in the position for quite some time now. It's in the media.
About 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years or a little over. And I think she has been asked to continue until we select the new CEO. If you have somebody covering the position, this person is a local, and the place hasn't completely fallen apart, what is your justification for not investing in that particular individual, since they have demonstrated a consistent coverage? And we can talk about the operational issues, but the place hasn't really gone to...
And she has done a great job, if you ask me. A lot has happened since she's been acting CEO.
Right.
In terms of keeping the place there. And maybe she's the person to invest in. You say, okay, I see what you have done. You need to do whatever those next steps are. And maybe it's our chance now, maybe, to say, okay, I can step back now.
The leadership position of the BVI Health Services Authority has drawn significant public attention, especially in recent months, including criticism from local commentators over the length of time the role remained in an acting capacity, and broader calls for stronger local representation in senior public sector positions. Jacques Whitting-Donovan, 284 News. In other news, Cedar International School is moving closer to a major development milestone following the recent groundbreaking ceremony for its planned arts center. More in this report. Crawford described the development as the culmination of years of planning and preparation, noting that the school has already secured approximately $2 million through donor support and is nearing the close of its remaining funding gap. He added that the timing aligns with the continued growth and success of the school's performing arts programs.
Our steel pan band, our fungi bands, led by our fabulous music teachers, Mr. Kim Johnson and Mr. Cave Stout, are in high demand, playing at events around the BVI, Christmas in the City, cruise ship calls, Fungi Fest, Spring Regatta, and various government events. Drama, too, is thriving, thanks to our partnership with BVI Arts and the creative vision of Claudia Knight and our fabulous drama teacher, Mrs. Emma Shishmanian. And both departments are firmly invested in the idea that the arts provide a powerful vehicle for community collaboration. A couple weeks ago, an event took place on our campus that I think illustrates very well where we are right now. Music teachers and students from 3 schools, St. George's, Elmore Stout High School, and Cedar, gathered on Cedar's campus for a day-long Caribbean jazz workshop. It was a perfect example of inter-school collaboration around cultural and artistic expression. And it was beautiful to hear the sounds of improvisational jazz fill the air of our campus. Of course, they filled the air because the workshop took place in one of the 2 tents currently serving as our performing arts classrooms. And it was a reminder of how far our programs have run ahead of our facilities. And if our teachers and students can make that kind of magic happen in a tent, imagine what they're going to accomplish in this center. It's time to make it happen.
According to Crawford, the Arts Center is envisioned as a creative home for students and a collaborative space where the wider community and the arts sector in the Virgin Islands can flourish. The project is also receiving support from the Unite BVI Foundation. Executive Trustee Dr. Sonda Smith said the initiative represents more than the construction of a building, describing it as an investment in creativity, innovation, cultural expression, and future generations of young people.
This Arts Center represents an investment not only in infrastructure, but in imagination, confidence, and human potential. I am particularly inspired by the school's secondary division word of the year, grit. It's a powerful concept and an even more powerful value to instill in young people. Grit speaks to perseverance, resilience, discipline, courage, and the wisdom to collaborate, but ultimately the determination to continue striving even when the journey is difficult. And perhaps nowhere is grit more evident than in the arts. Participation in music, dance, drama, visual arts, and creative expression requires vulnerability, patience, practice, passion, and persistence. Every performance, every rehearsal, every unfinished sketch, every missed note, and every return to the stage teaches young people how to overcome fear, refine their talents, and believe in themselves. The arts cultivate not only creativity, but character. The arts also help us to tell our stories, preserve our culture, and strengthen our identity as a people, a Virgin Islands people. They remind us that development is not measured only in roads and buildings, but in the ability of a society to nurture the soul, imagination, and voice of its young people.
The facility is expected to further expand opportunities for arts education and community engagement for the Virgin Islands. Jacko Wooding-Donovan, 284 News. And with that, it's time for a quick break, but stay tuned because there is more when we return.
At Higher BVI, we're not just about business. We're about empowering lives, and that is because we aspire to inspire. By choosing us, you're supporting a company that believes in equal opportunities, diversity, and community growth. Our mission goes beyond profit. It's about providing HR solutions, fostering talent, and leaving a positive impact. Join us in building a better future, a better BVI. Choose Higher BVI, where your support isn't just a transaction, it's a transformation. Together, we're changing lives in these beautiful Virgin Islands.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Recently, Team BVI outdid themselves at the WINFEST International Drag Race Rivalry held in NEVIS. A contingent of 12 race cars and more than 20 supporters traveled from the BVI to compete in the annual Regional Motorsports Showcase, which attracted over 6,000 spectators and more than 70 cars from across the Caribbean. Britannia Witter has the details.
The British Virgin Islands made a statement at the 2026 WINFEST International Drag Race Rivalry held May 22nd to 24th at the St. James Raceway in Nevis as Team BVI brought together racers, supporters, and crews from across the territory for what participants described as a memorable weekend of competition, camaraderie, and Caribbean unity. A contingent of 12 race cars and more than 20 supporters traveled from the BVI to compete in the annual Regional Motorsports Showcase, which attracted over 6,000 spectators and more than 70 drivers from across the Caribbean. Representing the territory under one unified banner were 3 BVI-based racing teams. Representing the territory under one unified banner were 2 BVI-based racing teams, Alpha Dog and Hurricane Crew, along with Speed Shop. Speaking to 284 Media about the event, Michael A. Turnbull, the unofficial spokesperson for Team BVI and member of Speed Shop, said the experience exceeded expectations.
Overall, the experience of seeing thousands of people there, us being interviewed all over the Caribbean. One of the views from Jamaica, he interviewed us and asked us, how are you guys so competitive? We just have a passion for the sport. We understand sports tourism is important, and hopefully this will be an indication to push the sport even more here in the BVI, because it's another opportunity and revenue stream, but also a way for kids to get into engineering, mechanics, computer engineering, because all these things, but also people want to have fun. But it also makes it safer for pedestrians because there's a dedicated space to go fast. Some people may not understand the connection of it, but it's an amazing pastime that is not new to the BVI, just that we haven't officially had it here. But having all the members there show up and Team BVI being represented and seeing all the respect and the camaraderie of the racers was amazing.
Among the standout performances was Tyra Richardson, who captured first place at the championship title in the bike class, giving Team BVI one of its biggest victories over the weekend. In the competitive 11-second class, 2 BVI cars advanced to the finals, one from Speed Shop belonging to Turnbull himself, and another from Hurricane Crew, owned by Terry Smith and driven by Kareem Douglas. Turnbull said the performances highlighted the growing talent and technical expertise emerging from the Virgin Islands motorsports scene.
People think about drag racing as unsafe and people just in the streets causing public nuisances. No, it's a controlled environment that is safe. And, I think as it comes along, as we grow in this wave, that the BVI could capitalize on what this is. And even before we're able to get a full track, the countries that don't have a track, but they organize scheduled shutdowns so they can progress the sport. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. It was my first time, but it was not going to be the last because it was just an amazing experience.
One of the most memorable moments for Team BVI came through Tessa James of Alpha Dog Crew, who was the only female driver among approximately 80 competitors at the event. Though eliminated in the opening round against a strong opponent, her participation was celebrated by teammates and spectators alike. Turnbull revealed that the BVI teams have already received invitations to compete in a major drag racing event in Grenada later this year, where organizers are expecting approximately 15 to 16 BVI cars to participate. He believes that motorsports could become an important avenue for sports tourism and economic growth in the Virgin Islands.
The plans right now is that we're hoping that we are able to get we had some initial conversations with the current state government and the minister who was very supportive. And so we're trying to see the technical things to work out some safety because we have worked out a preliminary plan and everyone's on board because everyone sees this. It's just to work out first safety. Safety is first. How we can keep the public safe and the drivers safe within the confines of not having a dedicated track and see what we could get done. At this event in St. Kitts and Nevis, there was over 6,000 people that came to this event. It was humongous. They ran out of Airbnbs, the hotels were booked. I mean, you could just see, and just being in one Caribbean island and being there and noticing that we're more similar and different, it just brings unity among the islands. So, yeah, all these things are great. Being in Nevis for the weekend, being able to experience that culture richly, is that cultural exchange happens through sports tourism. Sports tourism is very key, and it allows for intimate understanding that we can stimulate from Europe and all over the world, but we can stimulate within the Caribbean and continue to forge the bonds in the Caribbean. It happens over so many different things. It doesn't have to be the standard economic growth that everyone has. I'm into motorsports. My wife and I went to F1 recently, and that weekend was a $500 million revenue just for 3 days. You know, we may not be in that scale, but we can scale things. Just like we do the regatta, that's sporting, and people come in, it'll be the same. Because over 70 drivers flew into Nevis for this event. Over 70, actually. When you count the teams, because each team will have a driver. If you have 12 cars, you can easily times 12 by 6, and that's the amount of people. So if you have 77 cars, you can think about how many people came in there.
The fastest category of the weekend, the Outlaw class, was won by Roger Blanchard, a racer with roots in the BVI who now competes for Antigua. Despite representing another territory, Blanchard joined Team BVI for celebratory photos following his victory. Turnbull added that discussions have already begun locally about developing safer and more organized drag racing opportunities in the BVI, with preliminary conversations reportedly taking place regarding potential venues and safety planning.
It's a great showing, and hopefully it's a continued start of something that can grow into a sport here in the BVI that could allow us to just be amazing and create new opportunities for young people and people who are interested in such a field.
The members from the respective crews are Alpha Dog Crew, Carl Dawson, Antoine Brule, Tessa James, Rion Pickering, Brendan Pickering, and Cletus McTavius. And from the Hurricane crew, Mustafa Claxton, Terry Smith, Kareem Douglas, Danny Farrell, Bernard Benjamin, Derek Reimer, and Nicoy Phillip. And from Speed Shop crew, there was Marvin St. John, Michael A. Turnbull, aka Dr. Mike, Ian Galbraith, Esau Rowan Andrews, aka Black Lion, and Brian Diarg. Britannia Whittle, 284 News.
And that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com. Like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. I'm also inviting you to join our growing WhatsApp channel. I'm Jaco Winning Donovan, and I will see you again next week. So have yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.